All right, traders, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be going really quick over AMC. I did make a video yesterday, but I wanted to address a few things because I did make that video before market close, and you kind of got a dip, and a lot of people were upset saying that, it was a fake breakout, clickbait, things like that. I just want to address a few things. First of all, let's look exactly where you get that push up to. It's about the 4180 range right there. You can obviously see huge resistance, triple tapped right there. Now, is it surprising that you get rejected a little bit? Not at all. Now, on the after hours, where did you come down to? If you really look on the after hours where you bounced down, you came down to like 39.5, just a quick flash dump just after market actually closed down here, and then you immediately bounced back up to like 40.2, 40.3, and then you settled at the end of after hours at about 40.15, give or take, in that area right there. So looking at that, it's not really concerning in my opinion. I don't feel worried or anything like that. It doesn't change my thesis. We also went over looking at the IWM going to the end of the day. We expected to see somewhat of a dip. We weren't just projecting that you were going to blow straight through, right? You had 3 solid days, basically, right? You had your monthly touch, and you had a high, gap up again. 3 straight days of just bullish activity on the IWM, which is really indicative of these small caps. And if you look at, looking at AMC, it has been following this trend as we went over yesterday as well. So in my opinion, not surprising you got somewhat of a dip. Not the worst thing ever. But if you look at the market as a whole, if you just take a look at the Nasdaq, we'll look at the Nasdaq 100 on Oanda, you can look at the end of the day. Guess where you ended up? Higher highs. You're making another push to these all-time highs. This is really good stuff. Now, in the Discord, I'm also focusing a lot on tech plays like that. I think those are going to be what leads the market, but I don't want to undershadow or not put emphasis on the small caps because, in my opinion, they're looking very good. IWM, I like this dip that you had. I don't think you're going to gap fill. Personally, I think you're going to start pushing back up going into next week, just depending how markets open up as well. But I really do think AMC still has plenty of room to run. And I want to cover something that I haven't covered in a while. We're going to look at the OBV. And a lot of you guys remember this is something that really does cue the breakouts. Now, I haven't looked at it recently, but this is extremely interesting. The local highs that we had from June when we had the massive run up, obviously, this has been where we're sitting at, right? We're just kind of topping. And if you look, well, look what's happening. Since we had that double top, when we basically had the double top at like 63 roughly on AMC in June, look where you've come back down to. You made that solid bottom. You're pinching right there. You're pushing up. And now you're just making higher lows, pushing back to that level right there. I do not think you're going to get rejected from this. I think this is playing out as good as it possibly could going into November. And you're going to keep hearing me say November. Now, is it possible you see the breakout in October? Anything is possible. My projection is just that we're going to ride it out into November, and that's when I start seeing some of that upside. So, again, wouldn't be surprised you see a little bit of a dip maybe on AMC, but I don't think the OBV is going to just fly off the handle. And basically what this is indicating is that buyers continue to step in. More people are stepping in, buying AMC. There isn't anyone holding or any of the quote unquote apes or whoever it may be selling off, right? You're seeing a lot of manipulation, and I hate to even throw around that word, but after the stuff we saw back in September with this, in the beginning of September and into the end of September, I think it was very eye-opening and frustrating to all new levels of really what's going on behind the scenes with AMC. But I do still like what's going on. You're above the monthly. The lowest I see this retesting is 39.5. I don't think you're going to break below that. It still looks phenomenal. The 200 MA on the 4 hours is going to be something that you need to get back above, because every time you start breaking them and holding above that, that's when good things typically start to happen. That's how this run started way back in January. You got back above the 200 MA. Right now, this is the first time you've really been below it, and I don't think you're going to hold below it for too long, right? You just want to see a slow, gradual climb, getting back above it by early to mid-November, and then I think you're set to really start running. The big resistance I'm watching is going to be 47, 47.5. That's going to be where a lot of resistance will step in. After that, I think you have lots of room to run, $54, $55 roughly. But, 47 is going to be something that I'm heavily looking at. And just holding above the 200 MA, you can put it on any chart. The 4-hour 200 MA is something that is going to be very big. You can see all the tests that we had when we were bouncing. Finally push back below it. You need to get back above it, and that's really when the trend starts to look incredible. I already think you're queuing back up for the end of the year push, beginning of the year push. It's going to look very good. I like what's going on. I just want to clear the air there. So I've already stated I'm not going to be making AMC videos every single day, or at least if I don't think there's anything necessary to cover. However, I just want to address a few things that I saw from the last video, a few of the comments I was getting, and just address some of the concerns people were having. The after hours, in my opinion, are not that big of a deal. You've seen this thing whipsaw $4 to the upside, $3 to the downside, then bounce right back flat at open. So you've seen crazy things happen, and you're lying to yourself if you don't think this is the most manipulated stock that there probably is on the market. And I don't throw around that word loosely, and I really hate using that word as a whole. But when you start seeing some of this sketchy price action in the after hours, pre-market, things like that, it just shows you that you kind of need to just take a step back and let the stock do what it's going to do. But that's going to wrap the video for me. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Twitter's down below, Discord's down below, things like that. There's a few spots available. We'll be back tomorrow. Remember, boys, we run the market.